What is up, my friends? It is Friday night's late night agenda. Your weekend has officially begun. You're probably sitting at home right now going, the ball's on this fella. Your weekend has officially begun, has it? Because you decide to make a video. All right, fair enough. Maybe not. But I think you'll all agree with me. Tomorrow's game against Newcastle is absolutely massive. I've already done a preview for that. You can check it out on our YouTube channel. Just go through the videos. It'll be there, probably the latest one. If you haven't already been aware, or if you haven't been made aware, myself and Mr. Paddy Murphy will be doing a watch along of that together tomorrow on our Twitch channel. You can also find the link to that in the description of this video. So look, I'm not here tonight to talk about the Newcastle game. I want to talk to you about an article in the Standard today in the UK which speaks about Mason Mount. And basically the gist of this video is me wanting to know what you think of the idea of Liverpool potentially being in for Mason Mount. Now, here's what we know about the Mason Mount situation at Chelsea. At the end of this season, he will have 1 year to go on his Chelsea contract. It is looking unlikely that he's going to get the contract that he wants, i.e. a contract to reflect that he's a member of that Chelsea squad that has been a part of their success in recent years. The article states that he earns about £80,000 a week at the minute. And if you look at the amount of money Todd Boehly and Chelsea have been handing out and the length of contracts they've been handed out, you can understand why Mason Mount feels like he deserves a big pay rise for his next deal. It looks like Chelsea are trying to tie him down to a 7-year deal like they have done with others before. Of course, UEFA step in and remove the ability for players to sign such long contracts. It looks like they want to tie him down to that deal, and he doesn't want to sign a 7-year contract because, of course, it leaves him in a very weak negotiating position for higher wages down the line. So how does this affect Liverpool, I hear you ask? Well, we're one of the teams that have been mentioned in this article. It's not the first article to suggest that Liverpool are interested in Mason Mount. There's been, I think, 4 or 5 I've read this week suggesting that Liverpool could be in for him. And I've thought about this long and hard, and I've gone back and forth about, would I take him, would I not take him? But ultimately, I think if he was an addition to Jude Bellingham, I don't think I'd have any issue with it. If he was an instead of Jude Bellingham signing, then it's just FSG cheapskating once again, in my opinion. The article doesn't go on to say how much he may cost to get out of Chelsea, but with 1 year on his deal, him being a homegrown player, I would imagine it's still going to be a relatively high fee. So let's wait and see what happens with that one. What do you reckon? I mean, I'm going to pitch it to you guys now. What do you reckon would be a fair fee for a player like Mason Mount, who's an England international, a homegrown player, which we know is of a big benefit to Premier League clubs when they're looking to register players. Homegrown places are very sought after. So if you could get somebody like Mason Mount in with that experience, I guess you would probably pay a premium for that. But you've got to balance that against the fact that he's in the final year of his Chelsea contract, or he will be in the final year of his Chelsea contract. So for me, yeah, I think I'd take him, but the wages that I think Liverpool would potentially offer to him, and of course I'm spitballing here and guessing, I would imagine you'd probably be looking somewhere around the 200 grand mark. I think at Chelsea he'd probably even look for a little bit more, but if he was to leave, and other clubs have been mentioned in this article, I mean most of the top 6 are interested in him. United have been mentioned, Ten Hag obviously could do with another midfielder in there. They've added Casemiro into the ranks, that was a great signing unfortunately. So Mason Mount will not be short of suitors in this upcoming summer transfer window. Where would he fit into a Liverpool team? Well, honestly, I think quite well. If I'm being real about this and trying to remove my anti-Chelsea bias, I think there would be a space in our squad for Mason Mount. But somebody pitched something to me earlier on, right, in our Discord group, and I'd be all over this. I won't lie to you, and hate me if you want, but I'd be all over it. Sell Curtis Jones somewhere else, get some money in for him, and then you'd free up a place for Mason Mount in the midfield. You would get rid of Curtis Jones, who, let's be honest about it, with all due respect, doesn't look like he's going to make it at Liverpool. And if you're somebody that thinks he could make it, my question to you is, where do you see him playing regularly for Liverpool over the next 4 or 5 years? Because that's the part that made me sit back and go, I can't see where he nails down a position. I really can't. I could see him being a squad player, but nobody really wants to be a squad player, do they? So, yeah, if we could get some money in for him and maybe partially fund the move for Mason Mount, I wouldn't be against that as an idea, albeit that's just in my head or in my Discord group. No, nothing to signal that Klopp's thinking that way. So if we brought in Mason Mount, obviously Stefan Bajcetic has signed a new deal. That's brilliant business for the club. We look to bring in Jude Bellingham. Fingers crossed that still goes ahead. I think we're not too far away then, my friends. Matthias Nunes seems to be one of the targets that Jurgen Klopp wants. And again, Liverpool fans are a little bit mixed on this one. I spoke to a couple of my mates who are United fans, and they're like, you need to stop buying players from Wolves. You need to be looking higher than that. But ultimately, he's only at Wolves because Liverpool paused on signing him when he was leaving Sporting. And if I remember correctly, I'm fairly sure when Manchester City played Sporting, or I think they played Sporting in the Champions League a couple of seasons ago. Pep Guardiola said Matthias Nunes is one of the best midfield players in the world. So, yeah, he knows a midfielder when he sees one. So, I'd be okay with any of those really. But for me, the key to all of this, to bring it all together, is whomever we sign, be it Mason Mount, Matthias Nunes, whoever, and there are other players, Sangar, Kone, many other players. They have to be in addition to Jude Bellingham, because that's it. That's the difference maker. That's the guy that we need to bring in. For me, what would I be comfortable paying for Mason Mount with a year left on his deal? Probably, I'd say you're probably looking 40 plus. I know, that's crazy. Like, I think back to when players used to have a year on the contract, even 5, 6, 7 years ago, the value of them would really diminish down to like 8, 9, 10 million quid. But these days, doesn't seem to be too much of a stumbling block for clubs to be able to get money. So 40 million, less than 50 million, I'd be pretty happy with that. You're getting somebody in who feels like he has a point to prove, because he does feel that way at the minute. He feels like he came through at Chelsea. He's been a Cobham, I think, since under nines. Came through, has been a part of Chelsea's team and their success in recent years. But he's seen an influx of new players, both on long-term deals and, of course, on big money signings. And he's starting to question where his place is in that Chelsea squad. Is João Felix going to be made permanent in the summer? There's talk of a deal there for about, I think, 80 million euro from what I've read. So that leaves Mason Mount scratching his head. And another part to add to all of this, of course, is if Chelsea sells some academy talents, it's all profit. It's all money that can be obviously used to help balance their FFP situation, and also to boost Todd Foley's balance, so he goes out and signs even more players. As ludicrous as that sounds, it is looking like he's going to go out and sign even more players for Chelsea. So it's understandable why Mason Mount's looking over his shoulder and thinking, hang on a minute here, like, I've been at this club since I'm 9, I've shown loyalty to them, I went out on loan when they sent me on loan, I've come back, I've established myself, and now all of a sudden I seem to be surplus to requirements. So I understand why him and his agent are looking at a potential move away. When I first seen this story break a few weeks ago, maybe even a couple of months ago, I thought normally, like you always do when you read these things, it's probably just him and his agent angling for a better deal at Chelsea. But with what is going on, I genuinely think there's a good chance he could leave. Now, Chelsea fans want him to stay. We've seen them show their support publicly, and that's understandable because he's been loyal to them. I think this article said that at one point Mason Mount even helped when the Abramovich stuff was at Chelsea and their accounts were frozen and stuff. I think Mason Mount even paid for some of the academy wages himself, or at least put his hand in his pocket for them, which is again a great sign of loyalty to him from a club he's been at since he was under 9. So look, that's all I've got to say on this one. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'm warming to the idea, but I'm a long way from being convinced that it's actually going to happen. So over to you now, my friends. Let me know your thoughts. And again, I hope to see you tomorrow for the watch along. We will have our usual post-match content on here, player ratings, match reaction, that kind of stuff as well. So look, drop a like on the video, hit that subscribe button, but most importantly, have yourselves an awesome weekend. Talk to you soon. Much love. Bye-bye.